Hello good people, welcome to ACCA Performance Management. Today we are going to look at this topic, the pricing decisions. Pricing decisions, guys, you need to set a selling price within an organization if you are selling a product or if you are providing a service. So you need to set a price of the product. But the first thing you have to know is there are so many factors that influence the price of a product. There are so many factors that affect the price of a product. What makes an organization to charge a high price? What makes an organization to charge a low price? So what influence the price of a product? So guys, we can talk about what do you think? We can talk about the demand. If the demand is very high, people end up charging high price. We can talk about what else can we talk about? We can talk about the competitors. Is the competition stiff or not? So if it is stiff, you end up not charging to a price which is too high because customers, they'll buy from your rivals. So there are so many factors, guys. What can you think of? So we talked about the demand, the competitors, there's the age of the product, there is the inflation, you understand? For example, age of the product. So you're looking at your product. Is it the latest? For example, some products, some they do. Some companies they do in fast-paced industry. And give an example of smartphones. So guys, iPhone 13 Pro Max was the latest iPhone, right? But now we have 14. So are you seeing this now? The 13 Pro Max, the price of that product will fall. You understand? Because we now have what? The latest one. So if goods become out of date, if the goods become out of fashion or obsolescence, the price of the product will fall. You follow? Right. So there are so many factors that influence the price of the product. We also have the substitutes. So guys, we need to we want to look at this question and want to talk about the demand equation. We want to talk about the marginal revenue. So guys, companies, what they do is they do charge. So there are certain strategies that they use when they want to charge a product. So when they want to give a price of a product. So we can talk about the penetration. We have market penetration, we have market scheming. So guys, they'll ask you in the exam. So PM, performance management, you must know the workings, you must know the theory as well, 50-50. Right, so on market penetration, guys, market penetration. So this is when a company introduces a new product into the market at a low price. You follow? So now, but what is the reason of doing that? Or we say penetration is useful. When is it useful? Is it when the demand is elastic or when the demand is inelastic? So guys, when you introduce a product at a low price, so penetration works, number one, when the demand is elastic. You follow? When the demand changes. So like when it's elastic, can you follow this? You introduce the product at a low price. So if the demand of that product is elastic, it's now effective when you use penetration, because when you charge a low price, many people will come and buy your product because the demand changes. So since it is changing, they can shift from your buying the products from your rivals, from your competitors, and buy your product because the price of that product is low. So it works when the demand is elastic. Number two, we can talk about a penetration, guys. You are introducing the product into the market at a low price. Later on, you want to increase the price of the product, right? So initially, when you introduce it at a low price, you want to benefit in the future. It works when that product is a long life. So when you talk about when it's short life cycle, then you won't benefit when you use penetration. But if it's long life cycle, you will benefit. Right. Let's look at this question, guys. This question helps you to answer most of the questions, the calculations on pricing decision. Right, let's look at this. K-score is used in market research to determine that if a price of 250 is charged for product G, demand will be 12,000 units. Are you seeing this? If we charge 250, we'll be able to sell 12,000 units. Reading the second statement, it has also been established that demand will rise or fall. So demand will increase or decrease by 5 units for every $4 or rise in the selling price. So we are saying currently we are saying if we use 250, we'll be able to sell 12,000 units. But if we change our price, either we increase it by dollar. So guys, if you increase the price of the product, the quantity what will fall. You follow? So you're saying if we increase the price by dollar, for example, the quantity what will fall by 5 units. So here we have 5 units, here we have dollar. So if you increase by dollar, your quantity will fall by 5. If you reduce the price, obviously the demand will increase by 5. Right, then they're saying the marginal cost of the product G is $80. So the first thing that you do now on the solution, the first thing that you do, you establish the demand equation. You establish the demand equation. You establish the demand equation. So what's the demand equation? We say P is equals to A minus the BQ. That's the demand equation. P for price, A for maximum price, B, this is what we call change in price over change in quantity, Q, this is your quantity. So guys, the first thing that you do on the demand equation, you calculate the value of B, you calculate the value of A. So let me give you the steps. So step 1, you calculate the value of B. How do you calculate the value of B? We say change in price over change in quantity. So we want to know what is happening to the change if we change the price. Like on the question, they said if we change the price by dollar, what will happen to the quantity? Your quantity will change by 5 units, right? So that's B. So if you divide, what do you get? This will be 0.2. So B will be equal to 0.2. That's step number 1. So now step number 2, you calculate the value of A. The value of A. Now, the value of A, now what you do is you substitute. So back to the equation, P is equals to A minus, guys, I now have the value of B, which is 0.2. So I'll substitute, this is 0.2 Q here. This is now my equation, but I want the value. What do I want? I want the value of A. Right, so guys, when you substitute here, I'm saying P is equals to A minus 0.2 Q. When you substitute, looking at the question, K's co has used market research to determine that if the price is 250, the units will be 12,000. So you have your price, you have your quantity. Can we substitute and get the value of A? Why are we calculating the value of A? We need to know the maximum price that can be set for the demand to be equal to be new. Then we substitute this. This is 250 on the question is equals to A less 0.2. The quantity there, this is 12,000. 250 is equals to A less. Guys, step by step, you surely get there. 0.2 by 12,000, 2,400. So now when you want to calculate the A, the easiest way of doing that, this 2.4 will go to this side. So this will be 250 plus 2.4 is equal to A. So you say 250 plus 2.4, what do you get? 2650 is equals to A. A is equals to 2650. Right. So therefore, the demand equation, guys, demand equation will be what? We'll say P is equals to, so guys, this is our demand equation. So what was only happening is, we didn't have the value of A and B. We now have the value of A and B. So what is the value of A? 2650 less 0.2 Q. That's the what? That's the demand equation. So that's the demand equation. Right. So while having this equation, guys, the 2650, you must know as an organization that we can't charge a price of 2650 or a price above this. Why? We have seen that on this equation, if we charge 2650, the quantity that you sell will be nil, will be zero. So this is the maximum price. That is the theoretical maximum price. You must not charge a price of, you must not charge this amount or above that, because you won't be able to sell units. So the price that you charge within an organization, it has to be less than 26.50. You follow? Right. This demand equation helps you to make a decision within an organization. Because within an organization now, like on this question, this is the equation of the company. The company can then make a decision, like, for example, let's say they now know if, let's say if they say, for us to be able to sell 1,000 units, they can ask you about that in the exam. Like on the quantity, they will say, what about if you sell 1,000 units? If for us to be able to sell 1,000 units, our price should be how much? So are you seeing that you substitute, right? You just say 0.2 multiplied by what? By 1,000, you get 200, you less it from 2650. Then you see you get 2450. So guys, this is what you do. How about if you want to sell 5,000 units? You can even substitute and get your price. So this is the demand equation, which helps you to make decisions within an organization in terms of knowing the price and the quantity. That if you want to sell these units, what is the price that you should charge as an organization? So you can know by just what substituting, right? But looking at this now, here they didn't ask the question. They didn't ask about the price that should be charged for us to be able to sell these units, or 10,000 units, or 5,000 units, or what. They want the price which will maximize your profits. So they are saying calculate the profit maximizing selling price for product G. So for us now to get the price that will maximize the profits, guys, what will be the price? Just know that it's not about charging a price that is too high for you to be able to maximize. Because it's a combination of two things here. We are looking at the quantity and also at the price. So what is the price that you have to charge for you to maximize your profits? Obviously, it has to be less than this, because this, if it's 2650, the quantity will be zero. We need to sell units and get the money, but we have to charge how much, you understand? So now for us to be able to know that, there is another equation that we should know. We talk about the marginal revenue. So marginal revenue, we say MR here is equals to, you must know this equation. We say it is equals to A minus 2BQ. So some people, they know the formula. So some people, they also make mistake. They won't be able to remember these two. You understand? So there's a difference between this equation and the demand equation. On the demand equation, we don't have 2. But on this equation, there is what? 2 there. So marginal revenue, guys, is equals to this. So allow me to do this. MR is equals to, guys, have you seen that we now have the value of A in B? From step 1, the value of B is what? Step 1, the value of B is 0.2. Step 2, the value of A is what? 2650. Allow me to substitute that. So A, 2650, we have 2650, less 2 open bracket. The value of B, what is 0.2 here? 0.2, then we have Q. So MR here is equals to 2650, less, if you multiply, I'm sure that's what, that's 0.4. 0.4 Q. Now, guys, what are we doing here? Right, MR is equals to this. We are continuing with what? With our steps. MR is equals to this. So guys, we want to know the price that we charge, which will maximize the profits. So the first thing that you do is you calculate the quantity that will maximize your what? Your profits. How many units should we sell? Which is good, looking at this equation. But now we don't have the value what? So I want this, I want Q. But there are two unknown values here, the Q and the MR. But the MR I am given. Right, this is what you have to know, guys. We say the MR is equals to the marginal cost. Marginal revenue will be equal to the marginal cost. So what are we saying? The revenue, this is the price that you charge. You can't charge a price which is below the marginal cost. You can't charge a price which is below the variable cost. So guys, MR is equals to marginal cost. MR is equals to your marginal cost are your what? Are your variable cost. You understand? So let me do this, the marginal cost or the variable what? Variable cost. Some of the question, they will say it is a variable cost. So on the question, they've said the marginal cost of product G is $8. So I have 80 here, meaning the minimum price that I have to charge, the minimum. I can't charge a price which is less than $80. Marginal revenue will also be 80 here. 80, you understand? Now, let's continue with our equation. So MR, if you continue with the equation, if you continue with this equation, we need this equation, right? So MR, this is what? 80 equal to 2650 less 0.4 Q. Now, I need the value of Q. Guys, you apply mathematics here. Allow me to move this to the opposite side. This will be this. A80 goes here. You know the mathematics, right? Right. So 2650 less 80, that's 2570. What is the value of Q? You divide both sides by 0.4. So 2570 by 0.4. So the Q, therefore, the Q will be 2465 units. Now, we now know the quantity that we should sell if we want to maximize the profits. Then guys, back to the what? Back to the demand equation. Back to the demand equation. This is our equation. P is equal to what? A minus BQ. Guys, I'm following step by step. This was our equation, and when we solved the value of A and B, this was our equation where we said P is 2650 less 0.2Q. Guys, step by step, I want you to follow. Right. We now have the quantity which will maximize the profits. So if you substitute here, you get a price that will maximize the profits. So P is equals to 2650 minus 0.2, open bracket, your Q. So just know that for you to be able to maximize the profits, like from here, the demand equation Q, we want a price that maximizes the profits. So you solve your Q by using the marginal revenue formula. You get it? And your marginal revenue will be equal to marginal cost. You substitute, you get your Q. You Q, then back to here, then you substitute 64.25 units, then you multiply. So P is equals to 2650 less the 1285. Then P will be how much? It will be 36, it will be 13, it will be 1365. So this will be my answer. That's pricing decision.